Welcome into Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. Hope everyone is having an awesome Tuesday. I am Nic Rohloff, and we have a lot to discuss here on the channel because, well, we are in the midst of the NFL preseason. Miami travels to Detroit today. They will play the Lions this Saturday in a preseason bout, but they have a pair of joint practices on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, I can't really say they traveled because I'm pretty sure they stayed out in the middle of the country. They were in Chicago this past weekend. They stayed in that area, just traveled to Detroit, and now they're ready to roll with some joint practices against the Lions. It's going to be a lot of fun this week seeing the watch party that we'll do on Saturday, seeing how the team performs this week in some joint practices. So we do have to discuss some injury news. We got to discuss some cut candidates. We got to talk about what players I'm keeping an eye on this Saturday. We'll also do a Q&A. But as people continue to pile into the live chat, shout out your city for me, and let's welcome in producer Jeffrey Cooperstein, who is back with us.
Yes, sir.
I think the era of Nick Lopez is officially dead. Listen, I enjoyed Lopez hanging out with us on Tuesdays, but we told y'all on Saturday that Coop's going to be the Dolphins live producer this year, and it sounds like Coop's going to be with us every Tuesday rolling forward too, baby.
No, I'm pumped. It's going to be a fun season for the Fins. I believe it's going to be.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. Just give me some competitive football, man. Just give me some competitive football. What's up, Joey D? What's up, Paul? K. Todd, what's good? Tugabaloa 14, what's up? Christopher, Jason, Sharkbite, my guy Tim from Foxborough, K in the Bahamas, Richard in Miami, so is Joey D. John Green is in Richmond, Illinois. I didn't know there was a Richmond, Illinois. I only thought there was the Virginia. Sal is in Sarasota. Sharkbite's in Sunrise. I see Lynn, Missouri. My guy Jonathan Soto in Melbourne, Florida. Port St. Lucie, Michael Murray. Another Sarasota. Cap for Life says, don't screw this up, new guy. Oh, there's just nothing Coop can do
I won't screw it up.
Yeah, he won't screw it up. Zoe is in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's up? Michael is in Rancho, California.
Rancho Cucamonga.
What?
Rancho Cucamonga.
I'm not saying the second word. Ian is in England. We're worldwide, baby.
Let's go.
Can't complain about that. Coop seems like good people. Coop is good people, man. Coop is good people.
Try to be.
Seth is in West Virginia. Man, I love that's my favorite part about doing this. I think I say this almost every week. It's like seeing where the different people tune in from. It's like we got someone watching from England. We got someone from West Virginia. We got someone from Florida. We got someone from Foxborough, Massachusetts. And like it's just awesome to me that so many different people from so many different places tune in, man. Phoenix from Clarence, Florida Keys from Mark, Alfredo is in Arizona, Sanford, Florida, Derek Cooper. Shout out to all the real ones. What will the Dolphins' record be this season? We did a record prediction when the schedule was announced in May. The question is, what will the record be now after seeing the following offseason moves and where the team stands now? We will probably do a final Dolphins record prediction in between the third preseason game and the first regular season game. So,
now let me ask you this. Did your answer change from before preseason week 1 to after?
I haven't. I'm cheating and I'm not giving an answer today.
Oh, that's BS.
I said I think if you go back and look at the video in May, my initial Dolphins record prediction, I think it was 11-6. I was very high. But the Miami Dolphins traded Jalen Ramsey since then. They didn't really sign a corner. They traded Jonnu Smith. And I feel as if my answer might change very slightly. I'm not going to act like it's now going to be bad. Like, I don't know. I have to relook at it. I got to see the full 3 preseason games, the Dolphins 53-man roster.
You got to wait for all the information to come out.
And then I will make a decision. I'll say this. Without a doubt, this will not change for me. The Miami Dolphins will start the year 3-1. To me, that does not change. They will beat the Colts week 1. The Colts are abysmal. They will beat the Patriots at home in week 2 at 1 p.m. That's a game Miami always wins. They will lose to Buffalo in week 3 on the road, and then they will come back home after a mini bye Thursday night to Monday night and beat the New York Jets at home. That is a simple fact. They are starting the year 3-1. Where does it go from after there? That's where I'll need to wait another couple weeks.
I think this team has a good chance to go 9-8 or 10-7. I really do.
I think they're a winning football team. Tua wins 67% of his starts. Like
if Tua plays 17 games, they're gonna win 10 of them.
I feel very good about starting the year 3-1. Heck, I'll say 4-1. They play the Panthers in week 5.
Oh, they're beating them.
Like, it's on the road, but I know people are on the Bryce Young choo-choo train. I'm not. Like, will he be better? Probably. Year 2 with Dave Canales. They hopefully get a year 3 bump up for Bryce Young, but like I still think the Dolphins are a better football team. So I think 4-1 is a legit starting point. And then you play the Chargers in week 6. That's a toss-up game. Rashawn Slater's out for the year. Like, I know we're really nickel and diming from at this point because who knows where the Dolphins will be out health-wise then, but that's a big loss, man. That swings things potentially in Miami's favor. We'll see. I see a lot of 7-10s. I see a lot of 10-7s. See a lot of 11-6s, 9-8s, 12-5s, 8-9. We'll see. I don't know. I think if I had to predict it now, I'd probably say I'll drop Miami down to like 9 or 10 wins rather than 11 wins. But we'll see what happens when I go through the preseason and go through the schedule once again. Shout out Joseph Morrow for the $2 super chat. We got to make another Tyreek-like trade again. No.
Terry McLaurin?
No, I don't think we need to. Like, we need to. I said this on a video 2 weeks ago, or whenever we extend Zach Sealer. The Dolphins need to do this. They need to draft, develop, extend.
Yep.
Enough with the trading for veterans and extending them. You saw it with Bradley Chubb. You saw it with Tyreek Hill. You saw it with Jalen Ramsey. It has not gone well for Miami in the last 3 times they've done it. So let's take a different approach and do something like the Philadelphia Eagles, where they draft, develop, extend.
It's the formula for success.
And then when you are on the precipice of winning a title but can't get over the hump, that's when you make the blockbuster trade. I'll use the Eagles as an example again. A.J. Brown.
Yep.
The addition of Saquon in free agency. Just one position, very minimal, but boom. But why were they good? Because they already drafted, they developed, and they extended their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, their entire offensive line, defensive line. And now they've just drafted and developed an unbelievable secondary that at least projects to be one with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. This is what Miami needs to do. Are you concerned about the O-line? We'll look at some numbers today, but Miami's O-line certainly struggled in the game against the Bears on Sunday. Now, I will say the offensive line first team was good. They played one drive, and they were solid. They marched right down the field, but then obviously had the disaster inside the 5-yard line, not being able to punch it in on 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, and 4th and goal inside the 3. But the second line and third line O-line is absolutely atrocious. Keon Smith had one of the worst football games I have ever seen.
When you put the graphic in the script, I literally had to double check to make sure it was real.
Dude, it's so bad. Like, Jackson Carman stinks. Like, these guys on the depth of the O-line are absolutely abysmal. So we'll see if people are concerned. I am slightly concerned because here's the thing. I believe in the starting 5 up front. Paul, Jonah, Brewer, Jackson, James Daniels. I believe in those 5. But it's also incredibly unlikely that all 5 of those guys play 17 games.
It doesn't happen.
You just don't see that happen. So when you have to put a depth piece in, whether it's a Liam Eichenberg, who, by the way, is still not even practicing, a Daniel Brunskill, who I'm a little bit high on, but still wishy-washy at this point, Larry Borum, that's where things go really south. So, yeah, the depth is certainly a concern, but if the starting line is healthy, I feel good about it. All right, as we continue to progress here in today's live show, I want to give a potential special out here for a Dolphins fan. The top fan from today's stream gets an extra 3 raffle tickets on our Saturday watch party stream. Now, we do a raffle every Dolphins game day as well go live. This past Saturday or Sunday, we did a Dolphins jersey. Jason Smith was the winner. He actually finally got back to me today. He's going to get a Devon Achane Aqua jersey, which is a really smart choice if you ask me. So the top fan will get 3 extra raffle tickets for the Dolphins jersey raffle we'll do on Saturday. We'll probably stick with the raffle jersey for the preseason, and then the regular season we'll switch it up, and the MVP will also be slightly different as well. But the MVP/top fan on today's stream will absolutely be getting 3 extra raffle tickets for Saturday's stream to potentially win a Miami Dolphins jersey of their choice. So best way to get that top fan: liking, commenting, super chatting. Those are the 3 ways to do it. And due to his $2 super chat, Joseph Morrows is the top fan with 100 XP. You see Michael and SDE right there behind him with 75 XP. So we'll see. There's a lot of people with 75 XP. Is anyone going to jump in front and take that top fan? We'll have to keep an eye on that. But with 100 people watching, let's get today's show started. And the best way to do that is hitting that thumbs up icon. We need about 50 likes total to get into the stream and the actual segments that we're breaking down. We have 37 likes, so we need 13 more. Hit that like button to get to 50 likes so we can get today's show started. Because like I said, we have some Dolphins injury news we have to discuss. New cut candidates following the first preseason game. We will bring back a mailbag. We'll do a Q&A, so make sure you use hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get a question on the mailbag. Joseph Morrow's question about a Tyreek Hill trade will absolutely be on there. We also will look at the Lions-Dolphins preseason preview, about 10 players that I'm keeping an eye on in this second week of the preseason, but we are going to wait until we get 50 likes to get into the show. We're 6 away. We're 5 away. Hit that thumbs up icon, man.
Let's go.
Come on. 5 likes until we get the party started here. Who's going to be the 5 people to get us going? 4 away. Are you covering the audio from the Lions? What do you mean by that, man?
We will be live for the Lions game if that's what you're asking.
What do you mean, BR? What do you mean covering the audio?
We will be here live.
Yeah, I don't know what he means by that. But we did get to 51 likes, so it's time to get rolling with today's live show. We're starting with some great injury news. Let's say next. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, the one linebacker threw a little shot at Miami. He's a third stringer. I don't care. I'm sorry. Does he make more money than I do? Unfortunately, yes. Does he have a spot in the NFL and I don't? Yeah, but I don't concern myself with third stringers. They talk because they don't play. With that said, let's get into today's show. The Miami Dolphins get some very positive injury news for what feels like the first time in a very long time. This entire training camp and preseason has been people dropping like flies. Kader Kohu, Alexander Madison, Artie Burns. Well, Miami finally gets a positive injury update on a couple players in their secondary. I'm Nic Rohloff. We'll talk about all Dolphins injury news today. The 5 players we will be specifically taking a look at is Cam Smith, Dante Trader Jr., Elijah Campbell, Darren Waller, and Liam Eichenberg. But before we get into some of these injury updates, make sure you subscribe and make sure you have your notifications turned on because we are continuing to put out content a lot. 2 videos every day, weekly live shows on Tuesdays, as well as watch parties for every Dolphins game. And you don't want to miss any content we put out. Subscribe and make sure you click that notification icon. Click turn for all, not just personalized, so you get notified every video we put out. We'll start with Cam Smith, the former second-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. He is back at practice. It's about time. He's missed the last 6 practices with a soft tissue injury. Mike McDaniel never specified where the injury actually is, but we know he dealt with a hamstring injury last year, which cost him the beginning of the season. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's not. But this is an important time for Cam Smith because he is buried on this Dolphins depth chart. This was the unofficial depth chart that Miami put out last week before their first preseason game. They had him on the third line behind Ethan Bonner, Jack Jones, and even Jason Marshall Jr. And if I'm going to be honest, I probably would have him here as well, just due to the fact that he has not been able to be on the football field. And with him missing the last 6 practices with this injury, this is a massive week for Cam Smith. I personally believe that he is on the outside looking in of the 53-man roster projection. If I had to put out the 53-man roster tomorrow for Miami, it would not include Cam Smith. And with 2 joint practices against the Detroit Lions and then a preseason game against them as well on Saturday, this is an opportunity for Cam Smith to get rid of the narratives, rise up the depth chart, and prove that he should be on this Miami Dolphins official roster when it comes in early September. The issue that he's also facing is that he doesn't have a guaranteed contract. Some second-round picks now do have fully guaranteed deals. That was the holdup this year. Jonas Savionai has a fully guaranteed deal, but that was not a thing when he signed his rookie contract a couple of years ago. So if Miami did decide to move on from Cam Smith and cut bait with the former second-rounder, they would get $1.4 million back in their cap because his contract, at least right now, is not guaranteed. So it puts Cam Smith at a little bit of an even more disadvantage because it's not like he has a guaranteed deal that makes Miami want to keep him more. No, if he can't play, he continues to struggle, and he's hurt again, well, he's going to be cut. So it's a big week for Cam Smith, but it's good that he's finally back practicing for this football team. Another piece of the secondary is returning. Dante Trader Jr., the safety from Maryland, who Miami selected in the 5th round of this NFL draft. He is finally returning to practice. He looked good in the first couple practices of training camp, suffered a lower body injury. It was not specified. It's not required that Mike McDaniel in Miami does that in the preseason in training camp, but he returned to practice as well on Tuesday, so both Cam Smith and Dante Trader Jr. are available for both joint practices and assuming the preseason game on Saturday as well. And I'm going to talk more about Dante Trader here in a second, but I want to know what player you are most excited about returning to practice. Is it Cam Smith to finally see what he can prove, or is it Dante Trader Jr., the rookie that's been out for the first 2 weeks of his training camp experience? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But you might be wondering why Dante Trader Jr. has been out. I mentioned it. It has been a lower body injury, not specified. He picked it up in the first couple of practices in camp. And listen, I'll be honest, I'm not on site. I'm not watching practices, so I can't use my own eyes to see who is doing well and who is struggling. But the early reports for Dante Trader Jr. were relatively positive. So he now comes back with an opportunity to claim a spot on this Dolphins safety room because coming into camp, it was a crowded 6-man room with Patrick McMorris on the outside looking in. But with Ashton Davis still out for an indefinite period, he's going to miss time during the regular season, but he is not going to be out for the year, likely going to probably start the season on IR. You get 2 people on your roster that you can carry through the cutdown day, but put them on IR. So now Dante Trader Jr. has the chance to be the 4th safety for this Dolphins football team. If you project how it looks right now, it is Micah Fitzpatrick, it's Ifeatu Melifonwu, it's Elijah Campbell, and then that next spot's questionable. It could be Dante Trader Jr. It could be Patrick McMorris, who, by the way, I thought was solid in the preseason game against the Bears. He had an interception, but it was mostly thanks to Ethan Bonner being in tight coverage and getting his hand on the football, popping it up for McMorris. Either way, Dante Trader Jr. and McMorris, I think, will be fighting for that 4th safety spot, but I do anticipate all 5 of those players we just mentioned making this Dolphins 53-man group. And we'll stay in the safety room because we got an official update from Mike McDaniel on Elijah Campbell. We shared on a video yesterday that Campbell said he was fine following leaving the Sunday preseason game in the first half with a lower body injury. McDaniel said officially it is a day-to-day injury for him, and there is a chance that he participates in some of these joint practices and maybe even in the preseason game on Saturday. Now, if I would be honest here, I'd probably hold him out of the game against the Lions. No need to play him if he's slightly banged up because he does have a role on this team. And if you look at it, he's going to be the third safety for the Miami Dolphins if we start the season tomorrow. You look at the opening secondary for Miami against Chicago on Sunday when Miami came out in their starting number one defense. This is the back five. They had Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Benito Jones, and Zach Sealer up there. They had Tyrell Dodson and Jordan Brooks. And then they had these five. I mean, that is what Miami had. Those were the 11 players that Miami had starting on defense. So Campbell clearly is someone Miami has at least ideas about using. I think the Dolphins are going to use a lot of three safety looks this season. So Campbell does have a starting role, I feel like, if he's able to stay healthy, which is why it's important and a good thing that he is just day-to-day. More injury news to come here in a second, but what an insane sale going on right now at chatsports.com/MIA hoodie. $37. That is $32 off the original $69 price. Sizes are in stock. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Take advantage right now. One more time, chatsports.com/MIA hoodie. Out another week could be the three players that missed the preseason game on Sunday. Mike McDaniel said that Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Phillips are in the conversation to play this week, but it is currently undetermined if they will even play in the joint practices on Wednesday and Thursday with the Detroit Lions. Apparently, Jalen Waddle is dealing with a rib injury that he sustained in the Bears joint practice when he kind of got lit up a little bit there. If that's the case, there's no reason to rush him back. You got to keep him healthy for week one. And if Waddle's a little bit banged up, there's no need to play Tyreek Hill either because you can't have him get hurt. Jalen Phillips, I'd like to see as he's still trying to get back to 100% full speed after recovering from a torn ACL. I'll be honest, when it comes to these three players, I would simply keep them out another week. To me, there's no need to have those three push it in the preseason. Like, what are we doing here? Are we really jeopardizing the regular season time in those games that actually mean something just to try to get them reps in a preseason game? No, that doesn't sound like a smart thing to do. So with three of your best players, three of your leaders in those guys, keep them out. Don't risk another injury occurring. We'll stay on the negative injury front with two offensive linemen, Liam Eichenberg and Andrew Meyer, two of your top interior linemen, depth pieces. Eichenberg, I know a lot of people don't like him, but the truth is he is one of your best defense or best depth guys on this offensive line. He can play all five positions on the O-line. Doesn't do it really well, but he can do at least a serviceable job compared to Jackson Carman and Keon Smith. Andrew Meyer, by the way, was arguably one of the top offensive linemen on the roster before he picked up this injury. McDaniel said they're not returning anytime soon. It's not ideal, and it feels like it's going to be a long time until we see these guys, and they're probably not going to be ready for week one based off the verbiage used by Mike McDaniel. And with Liam Eichenberg still being on the pup, I have a hard time believing he would be ready for week one for the Miami Dolphins. And this is a major concern. Like, I talked about it on our live show on Tuesday. Make sure you subscribe and join us for that if you haven't already. But this starting five up front could be one of the better offensive lines in all of football. I really mean that. Like, if they stay healthy, they're going to be a really solid group. But you look at the depth behind them, and it's just absolutely atrocious. Eichenberg and Meyer are hurt. Brunskill is Borum is atrocious. Keon Smith sucks. Carmen's the worst offensive lineman I've ever seen. Jalen McKenzie shouldn't be rostered in a National Football League. And Jermaine Ifedi was embarrassing on Sunday against the Bears. The point is, the second line and third line O-linemen on this roster are absolutely horrific, and I hate to be mean. I actually don't hate it because it's my job. They should not be available to be on an NFL roster. Like, I'm telling you, I hate to be doom and gloom Nic Rohloff today. If the Dolphins sustain an injury to one of their starting five offensive linemen that keeps one of them out for an extended period of time, this offensive line is going to crumble immediately. Chris Grier did not do enough to address the depth on this offensive line. I know you can't have starters across the board as backups, but you need better players than Jackson Carman and Keon Smith. I'm sorry. It's a serious concern. I mean, you look at the first week grades from PFF on this O-line, nothing changed. They were the worst graded run-blocking offensive line in the entire NFL preseason week 1. And they were 30th in pass blocking. That is not an indictment on the starters. I want to make that abundantly clear, because in the first quarter, where some of the starting offensive line played, if not all of them, they were dominant. There was actually a point in the game that I saw in their live grading system, Miami had the number 1 graded offensive line in the preseason. That was after quarter number 1. But once quarters number 2, quarter 3, and 4 happened, that's where you get to this. It was an atrocious performance by the second and third lines of this group. And it's a serious concern. Are you concerned like me? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Let me know your thoughts. I don't know how you aren't concerned about the depth on this entire offensive line. I'll say it for a third time. Starters, I think they're going to be awesome. But they also need to stay healthy, because one injury happens and we're screwed. Speaking of injuries, Darren Waller's out another week, folks. Mike McDaniel, after saying late last week that he anticipates Waller returning to Dolphins practice for the first time, activated off the PUP list this week that we're currently in, well, not going to happen. McDaniel said it would not be fair to Darren Waller to activate him off the PUP list during joint practices with the Detroit Lions. I'm getting nervous, man. I understand you don't want to bring him back for joint practices, but we're inching closer and closer to the regular season. Is Waller going to have any opportunity to get into the flow of this offense, to get any rapport and chemistry with Tua Tagovailoa? I don't know, man. And he didn't play all of last season. He was retired. And how am I supposed to believe this is the Dolphins' number 1 tight end? That's where it was listed on their first unofficial depth chart. Like, I don't know. I said it when the trade was made. I was optimistic. I was intrigued. But I would have signed another tight end and made another move. I would have signed Noah Fant. I think you should have. Unclear if Miami even offered him a contract. Unclear if he would have accepted it. Maybe he really was fiending and jawing at the idea of playing with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe it was never a chance. But I have a hard time believing if Miami offered him a decent enough contract, he wouldn't have signed here knowing that he would have been the number 1 starter. I know the tight end position isn't that important for Miami, but I can't do a full year of Pharaoh Brown and Julian Hill, especially with how poor they looked in the preseason game on Sunday. I know it's preseason, but, man, it was ugly. It was ugly. All right, I'll do it for today's show. Appreciate everybody watching. If you're still watching and aren't subscribed, what are you waiting for? You clearly like what we're bringing to the table. Daily updates on this football team, news, rumors, everything in between. Subscribe and join us today.
I'll tell you what. This offensive line, you have me concerned. You've convinced me that it should be a concern.
I will say it again. I don't want to get it confused that I think the offensive line will be bad this year, because I do think if the starters stay healthy, it will be an average to above average offensive line. Patrick Paul looks really good. James Daniels is going to be a difference maker. We know Aaron Brewer is really good. But as soon as one of them goes down with an injury and you have to play Larry Borom at right tackle or left tackle,
you're in trouble.
You're fucked.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'll use the word. You're fucked. If Aaron Brewer goes down and Liam Eichenberg or Andrew Meyer aren't ready and you got to go to Daniel Brunskill, that's concerning. It's scary, man. It's a scary sight. I hope we don't have to worry about it, but it gets scary. It gets scary sometimes. It does. Make sure you use hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Not what we're going to do right now, but we're going to film another video and then do the mailbag. We need some questions. We have a Super Chat that guarantees you on the mailbag from my guy, Joseph Maros, who's also the top fan. Remember, top fan on today's show gets 3 extra raffle tickets for our stream on Saturday. We have questions from Joey D. We have questions from...
I don't know how to say that.
That's actually it. No.
Breather?
Who?
BRTH.
Oh, BR. I just call him BR.
BR.
I just call him BR. So we got 3 questions. We probably need at least 8 or 9. So we need 5 more questions. Hashtags Dolphins or Super Chat.
Along with your question.
Yeah, make sure your question there. We'll ask for more questions after we film here if we don't have enough, but get in there, man. Get some questions in. I have a hard time imagining y'all don't have any concerns, questions that you want answered, at least opinions from me about this football team, especially with the preseason rolling around. There's 100 people watching. Y'all wouldn't be watching if y'all weren't curious about what's going on around the team. So if you have questions, shoot them in the live chat or super chat. If we do yeah, I forgot, there's no name badge right on this one for me. I just think it looks like shit. That's just me.
No.
Yeah, I just hate the different sized badges. It just kills me.
Do you want to go with the intro again?
Whatever makes it easier for you. Yeah, whatever you want to do editing wise.
Okay.
It's your call. Zoe Owens with a question. Good question. Remember, get more questions in. We got 4 in. We probably need at least 4 or 5 more. All right, with that being said, let's get into the next segment on today's show, which is updated cut candidates after the first preseason game. The Miami Dolphins wrapped up their first preseason game last weekend, and now they play the Detroit Lions this upcoming Saturday. And on today's show, I want to take a look at an updated list of cut candidates after the first preseason game. And no, we're not going to cut 40 people on this show, as the roster needs to get trimmed down to 53. But I'm going to take a look at some of the 5 high-profile names. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. And the first name on my list is going to be Cam Smith. I am sorry, but it's just how it has to be right now. And if you are looking at this depth chart, you are looking at this roster, I don't know how you can say with a straight face that Cam Smith is not on the outside looking in. The second-round pick out of South Carolina from 2023 didn't play his rookie season, basically missed all of last year because he hurt, missed the first 5 games, comes back, was the worst corner I've ever seen, gets benched in favor of Storm Duck, and now it's just like he's banged up in the training camp and preseason. Now, he did return to practice, but he's buried on this depth chart. There are legitimately 8 corners ahead of him on the depth chart. The 3 people you see pictured, Ethan Bonner, Jack Jones, and Carnell Armstrong, and then the rookie they drafted this year, Jason Marshall Jr. Now, good for him that he was finally able to return to practice, but it's just exhausting, man. He just has so many difficulties staying healthy and staying on the football field. It's an issue. It is. It's terrible. Like, he's not good either when he is on the football field. I hope that he ultimately turns it around, but I don't know if he does. More coming up, but make sure you follow me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. We're 26 followers away from 2,200. Let's get there right now. That'd be nice. I tweet about the Dolphins every single day, so if you want wall-to-wall coverage on Miami Dolphins football in between our videos, that's the place to grab it. It also doesn't help Cam Smith's case that Ethan Bonner, who has had a pretty average training camp to this point, looked pretty solid in the preseason game against the Chicago Bears, including a really solid PBU where he was draped all over the wide receiver, textbook coverage, got his hand on the football, tipped it up, and it led to a Patrick McMorris interception. That interception will be credited to McMorris, but don't get it twisted. Ethan Bonner is the one who forced it. And if I'm projecting what 6 corners Miami ultimately keeps, it's going to be Storm Duck, Mike Hilton, and Kendall Sheffield, who are the projected starters right now. Now, would I start Jack Jones over Kendall Sheffield? Yeah, I probably would. But the point stands that they like what they've seen from Sheffield early in camp, and I can't deny it. He's looked pretty solid. And with Bonner playing well, I think he has the edge over Cam Smith right now, assuming the Dolphins keep 6 true corners, because they're not going to cut Jason Marshall Jr. after drafting him in the 5th round. That's where I think things stand at the corner room. We'll see, but Cam Smith's on the outside looking in. We've had Channing Tindall on this cut candidate list all offseason long, and it was just reaffirmed after the preseason game against the Bears because, my goodness, was it terrible on Sunday. Like Cam Smith, I think it's time to end the experiment. Former third-round pick in 2022 has just not been good. He's never been able to find his stride in the National Football League. He was on the 53-man roster last year, was a healthy scratch almost every week. In the couple games that he was active, all he did was play on special teams. And when I talk about how rough it was for Tindall on Sunday, he was the second lowest graded defender on Pro Football Focus from the Dolphins roster in the first preseason game. He was horrible, and it was especially bad in coverage. I mean, I think I could have routed Channing Tindall up on Sunday. He was targeted 5 times and allowed 4 completions. The part that is the most concerning, the 24 yak. That's not good, man. 15 QB rating when targeted. Tindall was absolutely terrible. I'll never forget, I know he was guarding a slot receiver, but I think it was Jade Walker from Chicago, number 20, just ran a slant right in front of Tindall's face and cooked his ass for a gain of 16 to get the Bears inside the 5-yard line. And that's the thing that Channing is known for, is his athletic profile. Just keep 4 linebackers, man. I'm cool keeping 4 inside guys. Dodson, Brooks, Britt, Willie Gay. I don't need another one. I've thought and projected that maybe Eugene Asante can make this football team as a UDFA. But the truth is, just keep 4 linebackers and then use what usually would be a 5th linebacker roster spot on a different position, whether it's safety, corner, D-line, or wide receiver. Don't matter to me, but I'm keeping 4 linebackers. So I think you know where I'm feeling on the linebacker, Channing Tindall. Cutting his ass. Type C for cut, type K for keep. You make the call. It's your turn to make the decision. They put Pharaoh Brown on this list, man. And this is not me. I want this clear. I would cut Channing Tindall and Cam Smith. I don't know if I would cut Pharaoh Brown, but this video is cut possibilities, candidates. And I think Pharaoh Brown has to make the list after what we saw this past weekend. Caught me off guard that Pharaoh Brown's on the list, but when you look at what transpired in that game on Sunday, it's hard not to feel as if he could potentially be released. You look at the tight end snap count for Miami, he played the most. And that's not a good thing, because if you play the most, it probably means you're lower on the depth chart. He played 23 snaps. Tanner Conner, to me, looks like a guy that might be a roster lock at this point. He's had a good camp, and he would have caught a touchdown if Zach Wilson didn't duck a bootleg to the left at the 1-yard line. I mean, Tanner Conner came across the formation and was wide open waiting for the ball, and Wilson ducked it. Unfortunately, Julian Hill is still going to be here. I fucking can't stand him. But Pharaoh Brown was brought in to maybe be a little bit of a better version than Julian Hill, because he was a really solid blocker as well as a slightly better receiver. But Pharaoh Brown was very, very bad in the blocking game on Sunday. He whiffed on a pass blocking rep, allowing a sack in the second half, and he also had a 43.8 run blocking grade. That can't happen, man. You're supposed to be a good blocker, and you are terrible. I wouldn't say he's terrible, but he wasn't good on Sunday. And when Darren Waller comes back, how many tight ends is this team keeping? Are they keeping 4? Tell you what, it'd be the worst tight end room in NFL history to keep 4. It would. He's behind Tanner Conner on the depth chart in my eyes. He is. I know in the first unofficial depth chart, Pharaoh Brown was listed as tight end 3, slightly ahead of Tanner Conner. I don't know how serious the organization really takes the depth chart that they put out in between every game. But, man, the way Pharaoh Brown looked on Sunday, it was rough. Now, maybe I would feel a little bit differently if Zach Wilson didn't straight up miss him wide open for a touchdown, and instead he dropped it down to, I believe it was Alexander Madison, but not the best showing for Pharaoh Brown. I expected more. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we will be live for the Dolphins' second preseason game this upcoming Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time against the Detroit Lions. We'll be live an hour beforehand at noon Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time. Subscribe today and join the channel. Muhammad Kamara makes the list as a new cut candidate. And Aaron fact on me, by the way, over the weekend. I was curious on why we didn't see Muhammad Kamara in that preseason game. Mental error. Forgot that he was in concussion protocol. That's why he didn't play. But when I saw Grayson Murphy play pretty well, I saw, Quinn Bell play pretty well. I just have a hard time feeling like Muhammad Kamara is the roster lock I once thought he was. And I said that Murphy, Bell, and Kamara were all going to be battling for a roster spot. Might be 3 of them fighting for 2. But Grayson Murphy looked pretty damn good on Sunday, man. In his 38 snaps, he had 3 pressures, a sack, a 16.7% pass rush win rate. Like Grayson Murphy, who has made plays throughout OTAs, minicamp, training camp, and now had a really good preseason game. Like, it might ultimately come down to Muhammad Kamara versus Quentin Bell for that 5th edge rusher spot. Like, if the game started tomorrow, I would probably say your 4 edges that I would keep on this roster, just for pure curiosity standpoint, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, and then Grayson Murphy, with leaving that 5th spot up to Mo Kamara or Quinn Bell. Now, do I still think Kamara has a chance to make the team? Yes. Would I give him a second opportunity? Yes. But he has to stay healthy, and he has to put together a pretty solid week of practice, assuming he's cleared and ready to roll for the Saturday preseason game. But pick an edge for me. Which one would you like to see make the Dolphins' 53-man roster? Type MK for Muhammad Kamara. Type QB for Quentin Bell. Final cut candidate we're going to talk about on today's show, Keon Smith. And my goodness, was he so bad against the Bears in the first preseason game. These numbers you're going to see on screen are not fake. They are real. Soak them in for all its glory, because I don't think you'll see another offensive lineman graded out worse than this, maybe in the history of the National Football League. You know how hard it is to have that low of a grade? Guys, 0 pass block. How is that possible? I don't think it should be. It's like taking the SATs. You should get 300 or 400 points just for writing your name. And you should just get a 1 grade for just suiting up in a football game. But allowing 2 sacks, 5 QB 7 pressures? Come on, Keon. The sad part is that there was some buzz, very little, some, that he was playing pretty well in the training camp. Didn't do very well against the Bears. He got abused by the rookie out of Kansas, Austin Booker. And Austin Booker had 3 sacks. People in Chicago are talking about him as a steal of the draft. He ain't no steal of the draft. He just got to play against the worst left tackle in the history of football. Did split time. He played some snaps at right guard, left tackle, right tackle. He's versatile, but boy, did he stink. And that's why he makes the cut candidate list. All right, I'll do it for today's show. Appreciate everybody who hang out with us today. We'll have a full breakdown of the first Dolphins-Lions joint practice later today. Subscribe and join the channel, and be on the lookout. Don't miss that video coming later. Man, every time I see that Keon Smith number, I just fucking laugh.
Does that mean that he quite literally did not touch a defensive lineman? Or he lost every single rep?
Hold on, let me see if I can find the clip.
I just don't know how you can even calculate that.
If I look up Austin Booker, I think I'll find the clip.
By the way, use hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get on our mailbag coming up. It looks like we've got We've got about 5 questions, so we need about 4 or 5 more. I mean, yeah, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, we need some questions.
Shout out K Todd coming in.
I want to find this rep. You know who's embarrassing as well as Jermaine Ifedi?
Oh, he's really bad.
Hold on. Let's just look at this. Look at this rep from Jermaine Ifedi. Hold on. Look at the rep. Look at him. Oh my God. Easy spin move. Inside sack.
Jesus.
Wilson. Hold on. Look at this one. Oh my God. Why? Oh my God. Did you guys see that? That was on the Quinn Ewers one. Oh, hold on. This is the one. All right. Okay, we're going to show this from Austin Booker. The first one, left tackle, was Jermaine Ifedi. The second one is Keon Smith. Look at Keon Smith. That's the left tackle. What? Are you
bad.
fucking serious?
Do the Dolphins need to go out and sign an offensive lineman?
Probably. I mean, some of that rep was unbelievable. All right, I see a couple more questions came in, so we're at 7 now.
Yeah, I
we
believe
probably
that's it.
need 2 more. Members, hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get onto the mailbag. Remember, the top fan gets 3 extra raffle tickets for our stream on Saturday.
Let's go look who it is.
I'll be honest, right now, I think it's still our guy Joseph Morrows, which it is. We do $5 raffle tickets. Right now, a $5 Super Chat would make you the top fan on today's stream. So on Saturday, it's $5 for 1 raffle ticket. If you send a $5 Super Chat right now, you'd be the top fan, and that would be technically $5 for 3 raffle tickets. So you're getting 3 tickets for 1 for $5.
Quick math.
Just saying that would be a pretty smart move for me. Mary Matthews with a question.
You have to.
Oh, it doesn't count though.
You have to use the hashtag and then Dolphins right after it. No space, Mary.
Incomplete pass. Mark P says Ewers is a bust if there is such a thing for a 7th round pick. Well, there's not. I only think busts count for 1st and 2nd round picks. Thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Some people.
Although, you can argue that he's a bust just because of his status as a recruit.
Well, he's a bust of a player, not a bust of a draft.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I'll say I could be talked into early 3rd round picks being busts. Like, if you're getting picked at like 63, 64, like first 5 picks of the 3rd round, those are high value picks. Like, those could be classified as busts. But usually only 1st and 2nd round picks are busts to me. Need a couple questions, folks. Come on. Cam Smith is a bust. That's 2nd round pick. He's done nothing. He sucks. He sucks. Are we not going to have enough questions for a mailbag? Guys, this is bad. Coop asked me before the stream, do you think we'll have enough questions today? And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't we? We always have questions. Well, now you guys are making me look bad in front of Coop.
I think we're okay.
Well, Mary Matthews fixed it.
There you go, Mary.
So that's 8. I'd like a 9.
Okay. You want one more?
I want one more. Zoe, you're allowed because that would be 2 questions for you. 2 questions max. So if you have another one, go ahead, shoot. If you have another one, go ahead, shoot. Got to use hashtag Dolphins. Last Fire Shadow. Oh, Zoe's already got 2 in then. Never mind. Greater God says I'm depressed over this team. Well, you shouldn't be depressed over a sports team. We joke about being depressed and sad, but like, if it legitimately makes you to that level, you just got to give it up, unfortunately.
Is that true?
Yeah. Like, Coop, I consider you and me the two of the top 5, if not the top 2 biggest diehards for their specific sports teams. And if I ever felt that low about myself, about a football team, or even a basketball or baseball team, there's just issues. You just got to step away from it.
No doubt.
Like I'm a Mets fan. If I had to watch the Mets right now, I would be pissed watching those baseball games.
And that's why.
And I am not watching. I'm not watching.
Shut up.
We also haven't even started the season yet. You can't be depressed about your football team when real games haven't been played yet. All right, I see questions, so I think we're good.
I think we're Gucci.
We Gucci down, baby. Baby. Apparently Jalen Ramsey just threw shade at the Dolphins. You know what? Fuck Jalen Ramsey.
You said you weren't going to let it impact your mental health.
I don't like Jalen Ramsey. I didn't like him before he got traded to the Dolphins. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, Dolphins traded for two guys I did not like. I was forced to stomach them, and I'll celebrate them when they're gone.
Do you like Tyreek Hill now?
Not really.
But you're forced to root for him.
I hope he catches 150 yards and a touchdown every weekend? Yeah.
Of course.
But, like, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Tyreek Hill. I'm just
fair.
not. I'm sorry. Fan of the Miami Dolphins. There are players on the team I am a fan of, but, like Jalen Waddle, big fan of him. Devon Achane. I've become a fan of Chop Robinson. But, man. All right. Let's get it, baby. We're bringing back a mailbag. Welcome to Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nic Rohloff. We're answering questions from Fins fans during the NFL preseason. If you missed the opportunity to get on the mailbag, well, it's because you didn't tune into our Tuesday weekly live show. But we'll start with Joseph Morrow, $2 super chat. Thank you, Joseph. We got to make another Tyreek Hill-like trade again. And I answered this during the live show, but I got to say it again. I think I'm over the strategy of trading for a high-profile veteran, sending first and second round picks for him, and then extending them before they even play for this team because they did not choose to play for this team. And you can argue that nobody ever chooses to play for a specific team. Only a select few does. But I've used this analogy a lot, and I talked about it when Zach Sealer was extended by the Fins. The way that you have to build a team, a locker room, a culture, the right organization. Draft, develop, extend. Miami has not done that. They have drafted, they have not paid their guys or drafted busts, and then tried to supplement that by making trades. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb. Did not work on two of those three. Two of them, Bradley Chubb has been hurt. Tyreek Hill's been a headache off the field, and Jalen Ramsey's not on the roster anymore. So, no, I am not trying to trade for a high-profile veteran. I am focusing on drafting and developing my own guys, and then when I'm close to winning a title, then that's when you cash in on trading for a top-tier veteran. Joey D, how big are you on Kenneth Grant and Storm Duck this season? Two interesting players that are definitely going to play a large role for the Miami Dolphins this year. Kenneth Grant seems like he's the third defensive lineman for this football team behind Benito Jones and Zach Sealer. Grant looked pretty solid in his first action as a Miami Dolphin. I thought he played pretty well. When you watch some of his tape and film, you see that his explosiveness off of the line of scrimmage is evident. His big body just plugs up a lot of gaps in that running game from the opposing team. And I think he had a really solid 2-snap sequence literally right away, like next to each other in the third quarter, where there was a screen play by Chicago. He recognized it, got out there, and made the tackle 5 yards downfield. And then the next play, put his hands up and got a PBU at the line of scrimmage. So I think Kenneth Grant's going to be solid this year, and he's certainly going to have a role for this team. First-round pick out of Michigan should. Storm Duck, I liked what I saw on Sunday. There was a couple plays where he's just consistent. He's solid. He plays with the right technique. He doesn't gamble. Like, he's not going to be a guy that leads the league in interceptions with 5, 6, or 7. He might not even get any interceptions. but he's just going to play football the right way. He's going to do what his coaching staff wants him to do, and he'll keep everything in front of him. So I think both players are going to be key for Miami this year. Make sure you follow us over on Instagram. And I know this mailbag is coming at you live from our Dolphins show on Tuesday, but we did cross 1,000 followers on IG, which means we're going to do an Instagram Q&A soon. But keep on following us over there because we put out post short-form content in between our videos, and we'll have you covered on more updates during the Miami Dolphins over on Instagram. Handle right there. So Owens with a question. Will Ollie Gordon be the second-string running back and overtake Jalen Wright? I think there's a real possibility that is the case. Obviously, Alexander Madison's injury ultimately became a dagger for this football team. Not ideal because he was projected to be your 2nd and 1, your 3rd and 1 back. That's obviously not going to happen. Miami obviously signed Aaron Shamklin. They also signed Mike Boone to replace Alexander Madison. Ollie Gordon gets bumped up to RB3. Now, I do believe that Miami is probably going to give Jalen Wright the first chance to prove himself as RB2 in the regular season since he was with this football team last year. But I need to see a little bit more out of Jalen Wright. The truth is, his first game against Chicago on Sunday, I don't think it was that good. 9 carries, 16 yards, 1 touchdown. That's not efficient. Now, he did get screwed a little bit because he had 3 straight runs of nothing at the goal line in the first possession of the game. And it's not all on him because the offensive line didn't get any push. But I just need to see better vision and better lane integrity as a runner from Jalen Wright in these next couple preseason games, or Ollie Gordon absolutely could overtake him on the depth chart. The last fire shadow. What did you think about the starting O-line versus the Bears starters? Sorry, LOL. Well, here's an up and down kind of thing about it. Well, in joint practice, Coop's killing me. I did the 6'7". I didn't know I did the 6'7". He started laughing. Sorry, if you don't know what 6'7" is, that's incredible. We're keeping it rolling here on this mailbag. Coop, you're unbelievable. When you talk about Coop! Are we leaving this live? Sure, why not? The Dolphins fans might love it. Okay, so back on track. Dolphins starters in the joint practice. Okay, I can't do it. We're gonna cut it, and we'll edit it. We'll still answer the question. So, Coop, when you have your bearings, and we'll stop laughing at the camera. Are we good? Okay. Holy shit. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. It wasn't part of the plan. Some of our non-chronically online people might have no clue what's going on. Sorry, but that's fucking hysterical. Well, I saw you start laughing, and I was like, what is he laughing about? And I was trying to think, did I say something? But then I realized it did that. I was like, oh, this motherfucker. All right. How should I do this? Like, read the question? Okay. All right, cool. What did you think about the starting O-line versus the Bears starters? Up and down, because when you think about what happened last week, the Dolphins' offensive line struggled, and so did the starting offense against the Bears in the joint practice on Friday, August 8th. But then the starting offensive line dominated on Sunday in the preseason game. But that also was up against the Bears' second-line defense. Like Grady Jarrett didn't play. Montez Sweat didn't play. So I'm happy that the offensive line and offense looked good in that first drive, but they also really struggled in joint practice. I'll also add, you play a lot more snaps in joint practice than you would in a normal game because you don't obviously have game flow. You're not taking a break. You're just running offense, defense. So it's a little bit tough, but I do feel optimistic about the Dolphins' starting offensive line going forward. Depth pieces, I don't know. What player are you most excited to watch in the second week of the NFL preseason? I have a video going out tomorrow about what is the most excited player to watch, so be on the lookout for that. But let me know what player you are most excited to watch down in the comments. Andy with a 10. Shout out to Andy. Do you think we've upgraded on our backup QBs from last year? Well, last year our backup quarterbacks were Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle, and then Tyler Huntley. This year, Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers. Although Quinn Ewers looked like the worst quarterback known to mankind on Sunday against the Bears, and Zach Wilson was very shaky, I do think they are better. And I do not care that Skylar Thompson had a really good preseason game for the Steelers in their opener. I'm sorry. I think everybody in the National Football League is taking Zach Wilson over Skylar Thompson. I just think that's the case. And even if you are going to bring up Quinn Ewers, who was freaking horrific against the Bears, yeah, I get it. They were bad. But the talent in learning of the new system is going to do that. And listen, Tim Boyle just got waived from the Titans, so he's terrible. I would rather have Quinn Ewers than Tim Boyle. I don't think I'm joking on that. Zach Wilson, I'd rather have him than Skylar Thompson. And Tyler Huntley wasn't on a football team until last week when the Browns needed to sign in a backup immediate quarterback with Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett banged up. So you're talking about three quarterbacks that really shouldn't be rostered, in my opinion. Zach Wilson is a capable backup. Quinn Ewers is an enticing rookie. So yes, even though it was a little bit rough in the first preseason game, the Dolphins upgraded their backup quarterback spot. Do you like starters sitting in preseason? For all teams or just the Dolphins, I guess it's a different question. I want to see Miami play their starters again. I do. I want to see them play one drive every week. And I said this on our live show Sunday. I think the benefit is not more or less playing the game. It's more or less the preparation leading up to the game. Because if you want to consider yourself a professional, even if Coach McDaniel tells you, hey, you're playing one drive, so it might be 3 snaps, it might be 8 snaps, it might be 12 snaps, depending on how long the drive lasts. But you need to warm up, be in the mindset, stretch, take care of your body, eat the right food, like it's a regular season game, so you're ready to roll for that one drive. And doing that 3 consecutive weeks before the preseason or for the regular season will make you only more sharp, more ready for the regular season when it gets underway. So I don't like starter sitting. I would give every starter one drive every game and then go to the backups because you don't want to risk injury, but I also want these guys to be ready to roll for the first game. Be subscribed to the channel because we have the most interactive Dolphins community on YouTube, whether it is live shows, whether it is in videos responding to you guys, or on our community tab. We have you covered. Subscribe and join the channel now. Roderick Blue, why are we holding on to Tyreek Hill? Because he's really good. I would have traded him. I said this all off season long. I would have done it. I didn't want to roster him again this year. But if there weren't teams offering a good deal, there really wasn't that big of a financial benefit for Miami to trade him this offseason. Now, is there a massive financial benefit trading him or / cutting him next offseason? Absolutely. You'll save $36 million in cap space, and he's got a $52.8 million cap hit right now in 2026. So Tyreek Hill will not be on the roster next season. That is a guarantee. But you're not going to trade him in the 4 weeks leading up to the regular season. I mean, we're 3.5 weeks away. We're less than 28 days away from the regular season. You're not trading him. You're planning to have him on this roster, so he's going to be here. Maybe gets traded at the deadline. Who knows if the Dolphins struggle early. But you're holding on to him for that. He won't be on the team next year, though. Grab this Dolphins hoodie. The fall is vastly approaching, so stay prepared. by taking advantage of this awesome deal in the description and comments of today's video. Chatsports.com/MIA hoodie is the link. Was 69, now 37. Grab yours now. What do you think about Jason Marshall Jr. and his future with the Miami Dolphins? Well, he's the 5th-round pick out of Florida, former 5-star recruit, struggled in college, and I thought he had some good reps on Sunday against the Chicago Bears. I can't lie. He's going to be on the roster. I actually want to kick it to producer Coop, who's a Florida fan, Florida supporter. He has some thoughts on Jason Marshall Jr.
Yeah, Jason Marshall, former 5-star recruit. He stunk at Florida, I'll be honest with you. So, look, he has all the talent in the world. He's never really put it together yet. He's got an uphill battle, in my opinion.
Hey, he's going to make the roster, but I don't really feel as if you can count on him being someone that is a contributor this season and really even a contributor next year. If he is, awesome, good pick. Came out of nowhere. If he's not, well, that's probably the expectations. So Owens again. Is Chris and Grier and McDaniel on the hot seat if we don't make the playoffs? Not welcome. So you're saying, like, if they miss the playoffs as whole, if they make the playoffs but lose in the wild card, like, what do you think here? Are you thinking divisional round he's asking about? I'll say this. If the Dolphins make it to the divisional round, they're safe. If they miss the playoffs altogether, I think they need to be canned. And you can say, like, oh, this roster isn't that good. They shouldn't make the playoffs. But, well, then whose fault is that? The GM who's been here for damn near a decade, and the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game. So, yeah, I'm out on Chris Grier. I've been out on a while. And if McDaniel doesn't make the playoffs either, I'll send him packing too. What will the Dolphins' final record be in 2025? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. My original prediction back in May, I think it was 11-6. I'll have an updated prediction in the next month before the regular season starts. Paul, are you more optimistic about our special teams this year, considering how well they played in the first preseason game? Abso-freaking-lutely. I, no joke, as crazy as it sounds, think that the most, like, let me say, how is the word I want to use? The most positive, that's a fine word. Let's just say the biggest takeaway. The thing that I'm most excited for is how good the special teams unit looked. Punt coverage, kick coverage, punt return, kick return. They dominated the Bears on special teams on Sunday. And Craig Aukerman is hoping to turn this unit around. Because, well, guess what? This was the worst special teams unit in the football last season. And they've been in the bottom 5 of the NFL in all 3 years McDaniel's been head coach. So it looked really good on Sunday. I hope it looks like that on Sundays in the regular season and in the fall. But I'm not going to try to overreact, but I am certainly a lot more optimistic. Like I said earlier, follow us on Instagram at Dolphins Today IG for more around this football team. We post short-form content over there, so get 365 coverage of the Miami Dolphins at Dolphins Today IG. All right, we finally made it to the mailbag.
Yeah, that's my fault for derailing that. I just cracked up laughing. I can't help myself sometimes.
6-7.
Is what it is.
41.
The realization of it when you just mid-sentence start laughing was awesome.
I try to do a good job composing myself. That was one where I stood no chance.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest.
We almost had it back on track.
I did. And then you kept on laughing.
I know. I was like, I tried to turn away.
BR says, I didn't expect to find brain rot in here. Listen, I won't say I'm on brain rot TikTok. I'm not. But I do know what's going on.
No doubt.
One of our good friends here is fully in the midst of brain rot TikTok, so he lets us know what's going on.
We do it all here at Dolphins Today.
Yeah, we got everything you need, man. Well, our top fan is now Andy.
Yes, indeed.
BR is at number 2 with 125 XP. So BR has passed Joseph Morrow's, but is trailing by about 375 from Andy Amigo, baby.
Shout out Andy.
Shout out Andy. 41.
6-7.
6-7. Ooh, my guy Flatliner's in the building. What's up, Flatliner? How's it going? Frankie? Just missed our raffle, or not raffle, excuse me. Just missed our mailbag. So now that mailbag's over, if you want your question to be answered, the only way that I'll see it is the super chat, because we put every super chat on screen.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Final segment on today's live show. Coming up right here, we're going to take a look at some players I am looking at in the Dolphins' second preseason game. Game 2 of 3, the halfway point. Well, half of halftime. But you can argue that it is the halfway point, because the first one, the second one, and you got the third one. So if you see like the 3 games, the middle one is the halfway.
It's the middle third.
I think it's just the middle.
Well, you can't have 3 and have a whole.
Sure you can.
You absolutely cannot. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5.
No, it's not. Oh wait,
Hello?
I thought you said 3. I thought you said 2 divided by 3. Sorry.
This is why we are not math majors.
I thought you said 2 divided by 3.
3 divided by 2.
Should we simulcast our Ocho matchup on Dolphins Today?
Absolutely. We should do it on name.
Could you imagine?
Be sick.
All right. Let's get into the next segment on our live show, which is that preseason preview between Dolphins-Lions. The Miami Dolphins are in Detroit to take on the Lions for their second preseason game this Saturday. And on today's show, I'm going to take a look at the players I'm keeping an eye on in the second preseason game. We did my top 10 players for the first preseason game, and we're going to do it again here for our second, because after the first game, we have to see if some players can keep the stock rising or see if some players are going to fall in their stock. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. But if you do want to join us for our watch party, well, make sure you subscribe. This is our thumbnail. So if you see this thumbnail, it means we are live on the channel. We're going to be live 1 hour before the game, so noon Eastern time and 11 a.m. Central time. We have a 1 p.m./noon kick on Saturday. Join me and producer Jeffrey Cooperstein. It's going to be a blast once again. Last week, Quinn Ewers was my number 1 player to watch, and he is going to be number 1 for a second straight week. Why is that? Well, simply put, what happened last week from Quinn Ewers cannot happen again. That was arguably the worst quarterback performance I have ever seen. I mean, is it a little bit hyperbolic? Maybe. But, oh my. 5 of 18, 2 turnover-worthy plays, 48 QB rating. He had 91 yards, but 39 of it came on the final player of the game when they did a hook and ladder, which, by the way, Miami Miracle 2.0 almost happened if Ollie Gordon was able to throw it better to Theo Weiss Jr. But the point remains, it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. And we've got a lot of buzz from Quinn Ewers throughout training camp to this point. So to see him play so bad, and he was not poised, he seemed unsure, he wasn't confident in himself, he just played lackadaisical as well. He needs to speed up his process up a little bit, clean up his mechanics, his footwork needs to be better, and that's why he's my number 1 player to watch again. Are we going to see a better Quinn? We'll see. Jalen Wright catapults to number 2 on my Dolphins to watch. Listen, Miami lost Alexander Madison for the season with that neck surgery. Jalen Wright is cemented right now as the second running back on this Dolphins depth chart. Now, Miami did sign Aaron Shamplin, and they also signed Mike Boone this week to add more depth to this preseason depth chart at running back. But Devon Achane almost at this point should be put in bubble wrap, which means Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon are probably going to get a lot of reps in these preseason games, and Jalen Wright just needs to be better. I'm sorry. I know he had like 4 carries get stuffed at the goal line in the first quarter of this game on Sunday against the Bears, but I just need better vision. I need better patience. I need better acceleration when he finds those gaps. He did not show me what I wanted to see on Sunday. I hope that he shows me a much better version of himself this upcoming Saturday. He played well in the preseason last year. He had a good game against the Patriots in the regular season. Can we see a good Jalen Wright performance? That's why I have him number 2. Cam Smith comes in at number 3. The third-year corner from South Carolina, former second-round pick, simply needs to have a good week. He does. If he doesn't have a good week at joint practice and then in the game on Saturday, I am just going to say it. I think he's automatically cut. Like, Cam, you need to have a good game. I think he's on the outside looking in of this Dolphins roster right now with where the cornerback room stands. But it could either change if he plays well, or it could be confirmed that he's not going to be on this roster. I think Cam Smith gets a lot of playing time this upcoming Saturday, and I will be glued to Cam Smith every snap when they're on defense during this game on Saturday. Take Chris Grier's job. Pinned comment on today's show. Would you cut Cam Smith? I would. I think that he has had enough time to have an opportunity in Miami. But let me know your thoughts. Type Y for yes or type N for no. I think Zach Wilson came in at number 4 on my list last week. I think he's going to be here again. Listen, Zach was really shaky on the first preseason game against the Bears. There's no way around it. Very shaky performance from Zach Wilson. I thought he was shaky live. Like, he did some nice things. He had that bullet to Nick Westbrook-Keeney over the middle of the field. He had another bullet over the middle of the field that was dropped by Eskridge in the end zone. It was a one-handed attempt, though, so maybe it was not a drop. But he also missed a touchdown on the right side of the screen on a streak. He also then threw a pick 6 that was dropped. He also held on to the ball a little bit too long and got sacked. Like, he was shaky. Upon further review, the tape never lies, and it was really, really rough for Zach Wilson. And even though he had a better game than Quinn Ewers and led a couple touchdown drives, I will need better from Zach Wilson, which is why I know it's tough to say that I'm watching our 2 quarterbacks so vividly, but it's the God honest truth. We need to see these 2 perform much better for the Miami Dolphins this Saturday. Ollie Gordon is number 5. Ironically enough, I think he was number 5 last week as well. So I'm sorry if you are getting deja vu. But I need to see Ollie Gordon again. Let's continue to build. Ollie Gordon was the second best running back that played for Miami last season, or last week, I should say. Devon Achane was the best, but I think Ollie was better than Madison, and he was better than Jalen Wright. If he has another really solid performance this week against the Lions, he might really creep up to RB2, which is why I am watching Jalen Wright so closely. It's why I am watching Ollie Gordon so closely. This RB2 battle in Miami could become fascinating very, very quick. Grab a Dolphins hoodie to rock on game days. When you have this sale going on, I don't know how you don't take advantage of it. chatsports.com/MIA hoodie was $69, now available for $37. Take advantage. Go grab yours now. Number 6 will be wide receiver Taj Washington. He was not on the list last week. He makes the list this week because of how well he played for Miami in the first preseason game. We talked about Taj and Malik Washington earlier in the week. I wanted to share this graphic again. I mean, Malik Washington getting 5 touches, 4 receptions, and a end around and 7 snaps is egregious. But focusing on Taj, he really didn't play in the second half. He was sad because he played so well in the first half, catching a 34-yard corner route when Zach Wilson was being pressured. A really solid 9-yard catch contested over the middle from Tua on the opening drive of the game. Taj Washington looked like an NFL wide receiver. If he goes out there and puts another good week of tape together, whether it's with Tua, whether it's with Zach Wilson, he will probably be a roster lock for me. I had Theo Weiss Jr. as the 6th wide receiver for most of this offseason with how well he's played in camp and in mandatory minicamp. But Taj Washington, he showed me something. I'm excited to watch him again, man. I can't wait to see what Taj brings to the table in week 2 of the preseason. Number 7 is the 5th-round rookie out of Maryland, Dante Trader Jr. The safety finally returned to practice this week, had a good first couple of days in camp, gets hurt with a lower body injury, out multiple weeks, and then finally came back to practice on Tuesday before the joint practices. And he has the real opportunity to be the 4th safety on this roster with Ashton Davis being banged up, Minka, Melifonwu, Elijah Campbell, all ahead of him since Ashton Davis is hurt. So Trader Jr. could be safety 4, or he could be safety 5, depending on how Patrick McMorris and him perform this upcoming Saturday. I was keeping an eye on McMorris last week. I'm keeping an eye on Trader Jr. First game experience for the Rook. I'm excited to see how the 5th rounder ultimately handles his first game action. Speaking of the Rook, Jonah Savianaya. I put him at number 8 here. Jonah was a fun watch on Sunday against the Bears. He was. And when people asked me about how Jonah performed, I said very simple, he had a very up and down first game. But that's to be expected for a rookie. Getting the nerves out. Like, he had a couple really good blocks down the field on an end around where he gets out in space. He's an athlete. On the Jalen Wright rushing touchdown, he moved down the line extremely well, rerouted his guy that he actually marked, allowing Jalen Wright to cut back and accelerate for his touchdown score about 6-7 yards out. So there was really good stuff. He also had a couple really good pass protection reps as well. But there's also times he gets beat pretty easily. He just needs more reps. So to me, I know he's your starting left guard, but I think Jonah should be playing the first half of this preseason game on Saturday against the Lions. And I think he should probably play at least a full quarter on the final preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. He needs repetition. He needs work. He needs to get fully ready for week 1 against the Colts when he's going up against a pretty solid D-line. What player are you most excited to watch? I'm rounding it out with my final 2 in my top 10, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section right now. We're going to stick with the rookie class. Jordan Phillips, the defensive lineman out of Maryland, comes in at number 9. Jordan was really good in the first game. He was, man. I think he was absolutely awesome. It was a fun watch. Like, there was one play, the Dolphins were up against their own 1-yard line when the Bears were knocking on the door. Jordan Phillips gets double-teamed by the guard and center and just uses his strength and lower body to move his man out of the way, reset, and bear claw the running back coming up the middle of the lane. Phillips showcased his fierceness, his toughness, his strength against the Bears on Sunday. He is no doubt the defensive tackle number 4 on this group. I am just not watching him on this list because he's got to prove himself. It is more or less, I just can't wait to watch him because it was an absolute beauty of a film watch when I rewatched it this past week. Final player, Grayson Murphy. He played really well as well. The second-year UDFA out of UCLA is really got a chance to make this roster, man. Getting after the quarterback, yeah, he did that on Sunday against the Bears. 3 pressures, a sack, a 16.7% pass rush win rate, where I know it's a very small sample size against second and third stringers, but if he were to do that in the National Football League on a week-to-week basis in the regular season, well, now you're talking about a top 15 pass rusher in the entire NFL. He's just been trending upward all summer long. Missed last season after getting hurt in the first preseason game against the Falcons, has a really good OTAs, has a really good mini camp, and then puts together a good first couple weeks of training camp and a good first preseason game. If he puts together another good game and week of practice with the Lions, he is probably a lock to make this roster and he is going to come out of the pact of that three-man group fighting for 2 spots of him, Kamara, and Quentin Bell. So he is going to be someone I've got my eye on. Make sure you subscribe, folks, and make sure you join us tomorrow for our watch party Saturday. Remember, live 1 hour before the game, noon Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time for the noon Central Time kick, 1 p.m. Eastern Time kick. It's going to be a ton of fun. Second of 3 preseason games. Subscribe and join us now. All right, folks. 3, 4 segments in the book. 4's up, 4's down.
4's up.
4's up, 4's down. So a couple things. 1, we're 1 like away from 100. Can someone hit the thumbs up icon
Please.
so we can get triple digits? Be greatly appreciated. 2, I'll give a minute if anyone wants a super chat. Remember, the top fan on today's stream gets 3 extra raffle tickets on our Saturday watch party stream. Our raffle is going to be for a Dolphins jersey of your choice. Right now, the top fan is Andy Amigo. He sent in a $10 super chat. It might take a 10 or more to beat that, but it would give you a head start on our Dolphins jersey raffle this upcoming Saturday afternoon. So I'll give people a minute to take advantage. 1 minute starting now. If no super chats come in, we'll sign off and see you live again on Saturday with videos going out now and in between.
How about that?
Yeah, we only have 3 more days. Wednesday,
more days?
Thursday, Friday.
And then I want to see a bounce back from my boy Quinn.
Yeah, okay,
That's
so
what I need to see.
Coop, you've been watching Dolphins football for 1 game.
1 game. Last 3 games of last season.
Last 3 games last year. But let's just say this. I'm not going to try to befuddle the people by saying you're a Dolphins fan. You're not.
No doubt.
You're not.
No doubt.
Take away Quinn Ewers because we obviously know that's your dog. You're a Texas fan.
That's my guy.
After the first preseason game, which you watched every snap with me, what guy are you most excited to watch in week 2? And let's rephrase. Maybe not say it's the most excited, but like the one that you're most, excited / intrigued. Because I wouldn't say Jalen Wright's the second most excited for me.
Right.
But because of how intriguing I am with his position on this roster, he's my number 2. So what's your guy outside of Quinn Ewers?
I think I would go with Taj Washington. I really liked what I saw from him in the first preseason game, and I think he could be an electrifying piece for this team going forward. I would love to see Jalen Phillips as well. Is he supposed to play?
We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. Unclear.
I've always liked the player Jalen Phillips. I think he's super freaky athletic edge who I think could be really good, and hopefully if he can have a full healthy season that he could make an impact for this Dolphins squad. So those would be my 2 problems.
Okay. That's a fair answer. See a lot of people say Ollie Gordon. A lot of people say Dante Trader Jr., the linebacker core. I think everybody in Dolphins Nation is hopping on the Ollie Gordon excitement train right now.
I watched Ollie Gordon in college a lot, man. He was special that sophomore season. Last year, didn't have a great year. Still okay, though. I think he could be a really good back in the league.
It's funny. I remember when I did all my mock draft videos on the channel in March and April before the real thing, I felt like I always wanted to take Ollie Gordon in either the 5th or 7th round of my mock draft videos. The Dolphins at the time did not have a 6th round pick. Now, via trades throughout the weekend, they gathered one and took Ollie Gordon with it. But I always believed that Gordon would be a good match for Miami due to his physicality. Now, I know a lot of people like Damian Martinez from Miami. I know a lot of people like Phil Maffa at times. What was the other? Oh, Raheem Sanders from South Carolina, right?
Yeah, Arkansas via South Carolina.
Yeah, okay. Arkansas first. But I always liked Ollie, and he's in Miami. So what can you say? All right, $2 super chat from Lennon. We'll get that on screen, and then we'll probably sign off here. But, yeah, exciting times ahead for Miami. Can't wait to watch the squad play on Saturday again, man. Anytime we get to watch Dolphins football, I'm enjoying it.
Do you think it'll be similar where it's a one-drive thing for the starters?
We'll see. Maybe it's a little bit of a different story since the Dolphins are doing 2 joint practices with the Lions now, which I am very confused. And I was telling you this earlier, Coop. They announced that the Dolphins would have 1 joint practice with every team that they're playing in the preseason. They would do 1 with Chicago, 1 with Detroit, one with Jacksonville, you're only allowed 3 joint practices. So I was like, oh, I like them doing 1, 1, and 1. But now all the Dolphins beat reporters are saying they're doing joint practices with Detroit on Wednesday and Thursday, which would then mean they're not doing any joint practices with the Jags next week because you're not allowed to. But I've also never...
do you only get 2 max?
You only get 3 joint practices. And they did one last week
in
Chicago. So it's like, my question is like, when did they cancel the joint practice with Jacksonville? Because no one ever said that they did.
Right. Very weird.
So unless I was just misinformed about you only getting 3 joint practices, but I'm pretty sure that's the NFL rule. So I think there's been either a mistake that they're only doing 1 joint practice with Detroit, or they canceled the one with Jacksonville and didn't tell anyone. Because no one said anything. But do we think Jalen Phillips can stay healthy? Listen, I'll be honest, I hope so. But if you had to put a gun to my head and ask me if he's staying healthy, I'm going to say no. Because he stayed healthy, played basically every game in his first 2 years, but then in year 3, played 8 games, tore his Achilles. Year 4, played 4 games, tore his ACL. So when you've only played 12 games in the past 2 seasons, it's going to be hard for me to fully believe that he's going to be ready to play all 17 this year, but I hope so. At least just give me 14 games, Jalen. You missed 3? Cool. Just give me 14.
Give us 14.
Give me 14. All right. That will do it for today's show. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us on this live show. Appreciate Jeffrey Cooperstein for producing. We'll be back, us 2, live on the channel on Saturday. Remember, 12 p.m. noon Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time for the Dolphins-Lions second preseason game. So let's get after it. See you with videos going out now. Until then, peace out. Go Fins.